Chapter 15, The Micromanager. The micromanager sat in a dark room lit by a dozen computer screens. He had not always called himself the micromanager. As a child, he had mostly just called himself by his first name, except during his 7th Halloween season when he was the Doom Bat. He had toyed with using the name King Bee, but that alias was already in use on Battit, the online supervillain forum he frequented. So he had gone with Micromanager online. Micromanager in inline text and simply MM when branding his creations. He was staring at his largest screen, currently showing a grainy video of a girl with a giant fuzzy tail. She scampered across a speeding, tilting car, plucked a baby from inside, and then leaped to safety with the baby in her arms. A crowd gathered, cheering for the deformed girl. "I love nuts," the girl shouted, the sound distant and tiny through the display's internal speaker. "I hate nuts," muttered the micromanager. The video jittered to a halt, and "Command Not Understood" appeared over the paused video. "I said I hate nuts," said the micromanager shouted. The phrase remained in place. "I also hate surprises," the micromanager said, addressing the screen as if the tailed figure on it could hear his words. Exactly 2 inches from the front and right edges of his desk was a perfect stack of 6 Oreo cookies. The micromanager plucked a cookie off the stack and ate it in a single bite. He said, chewing as he gestured to something behind him. Servos whirled. The sound of robotic feet descending a staircase echoed through the dark room. "Command not understood," said the robot in a pleasant female voice. "Please repeat." "Girl punch," the micromanager repeated more loudly, anger creeping into the tone. The robot, dressed primly in a yellow dress, entered the room and paused. "Command not understood," the robot said again. "Please repeat." "Gah!" The micromanager chewed twice, swallowed, and said, "Replenish! Unit P1, replenish! Another cookie, you idiot!" "Yes, dear." The robot paced away. "As if this creature wasn't enough," the micromanager muttered. "Now I need to tweak the voice recognition algorithms again." The robot returned. Carefully, it placed a single Oreo on top of the stack of 5 with its remarkably human-looking hand. "Good," he said. "Now milk, 10 ounces." "Yes, dear." "Screen 2, said the micromanager. "Take dictation." One of the smaller monitors, a text box appeared. "Wednesday," he said. "Frustration." The waveform on the bottom of the screen jumped at the words, with the transcription appearing in the text box shortly after. "Animals are bad enough. They chew wires, scratch lenses, disrupt my carefully placed spy bots. I've taken great pains to trap and eliminate the animal vermin in the neighborhood. People are even worse, of course, so they'll have to go eventually. And now, animal people? It is as if the universe is conspiring to destroy order, or simply conspiring to irritate me. It has succeeded. Do you hear, universe? You are on the list. As soon as I figure out how to live somewhere besides inside of you, you're out, extinguished, eliminated." A glass of milk lowered onto the table, propelled by human-looking robotic fingers. "Milk, dear," the robot had returned. The micromanager gave the machine an irritated wave of dismissal and continued to speak. "It is clear this animal person is behind all of the trap destruction, and behind the state of those traps is a recent video evidence. It is also clear the creature has superhuman abilities. Strength and speed? Certainly, but what else?" "I am not programmed for deduction and extrapolation," the robot said, still standing beside the micromanager. "Please upgrade my systems for further discussion." The micromanager whirled at the robot. "Ugh, I'm not talking to you. Go away." "Yes, dear." The robot walked backward and then began backing up the stairs, its eyes still pointed at its creator. "And turn around," the micromanager shouted. "Walk normal. That's just creepy." "Yes, dear." It swiveled its body around and continued to ascend the stairs. "Okay, where was I?" The micromanager turned back to the screen. "Right. A superpowered thing getting into my business is exactly the opposite of what I need right now. Ordinary people are bad enough, but extraordinary ones? Extra bad. My 3-year plan of inevitable recognition of my greatness and ultimate partnership with Hydra was foolproof. Not so foolproof, as it turns out. Fools have been my downfall, again. He glanced at the milk, angrily took a sip, and replaced the glass. Computer, stop dictation. Play Heights of Villainy Motivational Lecture Series, Disc 2, Track 4. Chapter 7. Fools. Am I right, fellas? Fools. We're surrounded by them. Fools at the bakery, fools at the bank, fools on the streets, and increasingly fools in the air. It is not a party being better than everyone. How do we ensure we are not crippled by the abject idiocy of others? The first option, of course, is murder. Alas, this is not as easy as it sounds. At least not in the scale you need to make any kind of noticeable dent in the fool population. And believe me, even if you can get those kinds of numbers, the cleanup is a beast. Unless you're the type of guy who enjoys the smell of decomposing meat. I'm looking at you, Magog. Then, having skipped forward, said the micromanager. Frankly, the dead make for poor servants. Loki may tell you different, but trust me, zombie butlers are a big P in the A. Forward, said the micromanager. Not like Thanos, who gets people to honestly believe he'll incinerate them where they stand, despite his ridiculous purple head and chin of 1,000 butts. Forward, said the micromanager. A note on the worst kind of fool, the super fool. These butter-brained cretins that fly, shoot lasers out of various body parts, and generally cause us trouble. If you've got one of those on your tail, congratulations. You've just been legitimized by the system. People are much more likely to run away from you screaming if you've been seen fighting Thor. Side tip, don't fight Thor. It's a bad idea. My point is, if you don't have a nemesis, get one. But make sure it is one that people love and respect. I know a guy who spent years fighting the hero Star-Lord, and all he ever did was make Star-Lord look like a joke, which frankly, in the court of public opinion, was not that great of a feat. And so now this guy is known as Star-Lord's archenemy, which is mostly funny to everyone, except him, and Star-Lord too, probably. Don't make that mistake. Own your superfool. If they aren't worthy of you, make them worthy of you. Make sure the public knows it, then defeat them in front of everyone. It'll make your rep for years. Pause, said the micromanager. The micromanager turned to the monitor, still showing Squirrel Girl, fist held high in a pose of triumph. Very well, he said to the screen. Let's make you worthy enough for me to defeat you, you ridiculous thing. Command not understood. Ugh.